What if I told you the next time you reach into your change jar, you might just be holding a coin worth over $1.5 million? That's not a joke. It's real. And it's hiding in plain sight. The 2016 P Mint Mark Fort Moultrie $2 coin is more than just pocket change. It's a collector's dream, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and for one lucky man, it was the ticket to a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into this quarter that's flipping the world of numismatics on its head, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where to look for it, and how one simple coin could change your life forever. Because the smallest detail could be the difference between a 25-cent piece and $1.5 million. The Fort Moultrie quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, honoring the fort's resistance during the British assault and the Revolutionary War. But here's the kicker. While millions of these quarters were minted, something unusual happened with a small batch at the Philadelphia Mint in 2016. This wasn't just a commemorative coin. For a select few, it became something rare and incredibly valuable. Hold that thought, because the story's about to twist. In the coin collecting world, error coins are like buried treasure. And the 2016 P Fort Moultrie quarter has one of the most fascinating error stories of the decade. It wasn't until early 2017 when a coin collector in Pennsylvania, sorting through his spare change like he always did, spotted something odd. The strike on the quarter was off-center. The details weren't quite right. Lady Liberty's face looked slightly doubled. And then, he noticed the rim thicker on one side, thinner on the other. Curious, he had it examined by a professional. An ultra-rare misstrike with double die characteristics. A 1 in a billion mistake. Certified by two of the most respected grading authorities in the country. But wait till you hear what happened next. That same coin went to auction in late 2021, but then the collectors started showing up with phone bids. Online frenzy. In-room paddles rising faster than the auctioneer could speak. By the time the gavel hit the block, the final bid had reached an unbelievable $1.5 million. A simple quarter from his glove box turned into the kind of payday most people only dream of. Now here's the million-dollar question. The good news is yes, experts believe there are more error-struck Fort Moultrie quarters still in circulation. Right under the word "In God We Trust" on the obverse. That P is for Philadelphia, where the rare batch was made. Look closely at the letters in E pluribus unum or the uniform on Sergeant William Jasper. If the lines look doubled or slightly blurry, you might have something. Check the borders. If the rim is uneven or part of the design seems pushed out of alignment, that's a huge red flag in a good way. Planchet errors. Some of these coins were struck on defective metal blanks, creating surface distortions or cracks. If you've got a scale, weigh the quarter. The standard should be 5.67 grams. A rare few are underweight or overweight, another sign of something special. But just before you go running to your piggy bank, there's one more thing you need to understand. Right now, rare error coins are hot. Like, on fire. Or why? Because the market is being flooded with first-time collectors, many of them retirees or young investors looking for tangible assets, and coins like the 2016 Fort Moultrie quarter are the crown jewels. In recent auctions, lesser error versions of this quarter have sold for $5,000 to $15,000. Even moderately circulated ones are going for hundreds online. So if you're sitting on one of these coins, you could be holding more than just metal, you could be holding momentum. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Meet Dennis, a 68-year-old Vietnam vet from North Carolina. He was cleaning out his old RV when he found a dusty jar filled with change. He almost dumped it into a Coinstar, but something about that Fort Moultrie quarter looked different. Long story short, it sold for $38,000 just last year. Or take Lena, a 33-year-old single mom in Ohio. She flipped her 25-cent fine into $12,500 after spotting the error in her son's lunch money. They're happening across America. People who never thought of themselves as collectors suddenly finding life-changing coins. You're standing at a gas station, a quarter short. You pull one from your pocket. It's a 2016 Fort Moultrie quarter. You don't notice the error. You use it, unknowingly giving away $1.5 million for a bottle of soda, because millions of these coins were made, but only a few are the golden ticket. So next time you're cleaning out your junk drawer or counting coins for the car wash, pause. Look closely. You never know when fortune might flip into your life. Your journey to a wealthy lifestyle could begin with something as small as 25 cents. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories. In the next episode, we're going to reveal a 2000D quarter with a minting flaw so rare, it's been dubbed the Phantom Coin, and its last known sale hit $1.8 million. Imagine digging through your old coin jar, the one collecting dust on your dresser for years, and finding a quarter so rare and valuable it could pay off your mortgage, buy your dream truck, and still leave enough to retire early. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, it's not. One 2006 Colorado quarter, yes, a regular-looking 25-cent piece minted in Philadelphia, is now worth $1.6 million today. We're diving deep into the story behind this seemingly ordinary coin that holds extraordinary value. From what makes it so rare to how you might have one without even knowing it, stay with me because this journey is about more than just metal, it's about timing, luck, and life-changing discovery, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be racing to check your spare change. Let's start from the beginning. In 2006, the U.S. Mint continued the 50-state quarters program, which had already become a cultural phenomenon. That year, 5 quarters were released to represent Nevada, Nebraska, Colorado, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The Colorado quarter featured the breathtaking Rocky Mountains with the legend "Colorful Colorado" etched into its design. It wasn't just a coin, it was a tribute to natural beauty. Over 250 million of these were struck in Philadelphia, marked with a small letter P under the words, "In God We Trust." So how can a coin with hundreds of millions of copies be worth millions? That's where the story starts to turn. Out of the massive quarters minted, a handful of Colorado quarters from the Philadelphia Mint came out differently flawed, yes, but flawed in a way that made them rare. These were not errors anyone would catch right away. They didn't have a hole in them or a blank back. No, the real secret was subtle and hidden in the details. Collectors have discovered that a specific batch of 2006 P Colorado quarters has a dramatic double die reverse. In simple terms, parts of the mountain design appear to be doubled, giving the coin a ghost-like second image, almost like an echo. It's something you'd miss unless you were looking very closely, maybe even with a magnifying glass, but once experts confirmed it, the value skyrocketed. And here's the kicker: one pristine version of this quarter, with that exact doubling and in near-perfect condition, sold for over $1.6 million. Good, because this is where it gets even more unbelievable. You might be thinking, great, but mine's been sitting in a drawer for years. It's probably scratched up. Here's the thing, coin collectors live and breathe something called grade. A coin's grade, or condition, can mean the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. The $1.6 million Colorado quarter was graded MS-68. That's Mint State 68 on a 70-point scale, almost flawless. Coins in this condition are rare, especially when they've been in circulation. But guess what? Some people have found MS-65 and MS-66 examples of rare quarters and pocket change. So while MS-68 is the gold standard, anything MS-65 and up could still bring you thousands or hundreds of thousands. And now, before we talk about where these coins are being sold and how people are cashing in, let me tell you a quick story. Last year, in a small town in Missouri, a man in his 60s was cleaning out his garage. He had an old mason jar filled with coins that he'd tossed change into for decades. Nothing fancy. Just quarters, nickels, a few dimes. He almost threw the whole jar into one of those grocery store coin counters, but on a hunch, he dumped the coins out and gave them a once-over. A Colorado quarter caught his eye not because it looked rare, but because he remembered visiting the Rocky Mountains that year. He sent it off to a coin grading service. Weeks later, he got the call. It was an MS-67 double die reverse. That coin eventually sold at a private auction for over $900,000.1 coin. One jar. One decision not to ignore the past. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you have one. It must be a 2006 P. You'll see a tiny P on the front of the coin under "In God We Trust." Flip the coin. Look at the mountains, especially the ridges and tree lines. Use a magnifying glass. On the rare variant, the mountain peaks have a shadowy double appearance, like a printing error where the image is stamped twice. Look at the luster. No deep scratches, no signs of wear, and strong edges? That's a good sign. If you're unsure, send it to PCGS or NGC, two of the most respected coin grading companies in America. For a small fee, they can certify your coin's grade and authenticity, but wait until you hear where people are selling these coins and making serious cash. There are collectors out there right now hunting for these coins. Coin shows, online auctions, and even private buyers through eBay and heritage auctions are actively purchasing 2006 P Colorado quarters with the rare features. Some collectors specialize in state quarter variants. And they're not shy about offering 6 or 7 figures if the coin is authenticated and the condition is high. Coin forums, Facebook groups, and rare coin conventions have reported growing interest in Colorado quarters, especially since the $1.6 million sale hit the headlines. It sparked a frenzy, and just before we wrap up, let's touch on one last powerful point: the value of these coins goes beyond dollars. These quarters are time capsules. They mark a moment in American history, a part of the 50 States series that inspired millions to start collecting again. They remind us that value often hides in plain sight. Most importantly, they remind us that your next life-changing opportunity could be sitting right under your nose. You don't need a winning lottery ticket. Sometimes, all it takes is curiosity and a moment to look a little closer at what you already have. So here's what I want you to do right now. Check your pockets, dig out those old jars, look through your drawers. Find your quarters, especially the 2006 Colorado ones. You could be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. Remember, the man who sold his quarter for $1.6 million didn't find it in a treasure chest. He found it in a cup holder. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you learned something new or got inspired to go hunting through your change, hit that like button and share this video with someone you know. Your future might just be waiting in your coin collection. You ever check your pocket change and wonder if there's a little treasure hiding in there? Something small, unassuming, maybe a bit worn, but worth a fortune, and not because it was made of gold. Not because it was encrusted with diamonds. But because of a minting detail most folks miss, a detail that changed one man's life forever. So grab your cup of coffee, settle in, because by the time this video ends, you might be running for your coin jar. This is the true story of the 1999 Connecticut quarter and the reason why it could be the most valuable quarter in America. But don't blink. The clues are subtle. The details, fascinating. And the ending? You won't see it coming. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched one of its most ambitious programs ever, the 50 State Quarters program. Each quarter celebrated a different state, its culture, and history. The very first year, 5 states were honored: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. Connecticut's quarter stood out. The design features the famous charter oak tree, a symbol of strength, rebellion, and legacy. But beneath the beautiful engraving and silvery luster, some Connecticut quarters held secrets. The quarter we're talking about today, the one worth $1.7 million, was minted in Philadelphia. You'll know it by the small P just to the right of Washington's ponytail. But that's just where the mystery starts. Let me take you to a dusty garage in rural Ohio. Picture an older gentleman, retired, Vietnam vet, loves woodworking. We'll call him Jack. One slow Tuesday, Jack was cleaning up his garage when he found an old Folgers coffee can full of coins. He remembered using it to teach his grandkids how to count change. He dumps the coins on the bench, and as he's sifting through nickels and dimes, one quarter catches his eye. It's a 1999 Connecticut quarter, but something looks off. The tree's design is slightly misaligned. There's extra metal around the rim. A glint that doesn't match the others. He doesn't think much of it, tosses it into a drawer, and goes back to his day. But fate had other plans for Jack. It turns out, in late 1999, a small batch of Connecticut quarters was struck using a damaged die. The charter oak design was slightly doubled, creating what collectors call a double die obverse. To the untrained eye, it looks like a smudge. But to numismatists, serious coin collectors, it's a red-hot anomaly. And now here's where things get interesting. Not only was there doubling, but some quarters had what's known as a clad layer error. That means the outer nickel-copper shell was partially missing, revealing the inner core. Combine that with the doubling, the sharp strike, and the early die state, and you've got a rarity that could make headlines. Only a few of these are known to exist. Maybe 4 or 5. That's at 3 years after Jack found the coin, his nephew, a coin hobbyist, finally convinced him to take it to a coin show in Cincinnati. At first, the experts dismissed it. But then a respected grader from PCGS, the professional coin grading service, looked at it under magnification. He froze. What he held wasn't just rare. It was one of a kind. The combination of the 1999 mint mark, the flawless doubling, and the clad layer flaw made this quarter an absolute unicorn in the world of numismatics. The coin went to auction. The bidding was ferocious. What started at $10,000 jumped to $50,000, then $200,000, then $500,000. The final hammer dropped at $1.70 million. Jack, who spent his life working construction and fixing cars, suddenly had the kind of wealth people only dream of. From a coin he almost threw away, there are still a few of these Connecticut quarters out there. And if you're watching this from your couch, your garage, or maybe standing next to a dusty old piggy bank, you might have one of them. Look for the 1999 date on the front, check for the P mint mark, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. And now, turn your attention to the charter oak. Is there a doubling of the tree branches? Does the rim feel thicker or uneven? Is there any exposed inner core, a darker, coppery strip around the edges? Use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera zoom. Take your time. Don't rush. This isn't about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. Even if it's not the exact rare type, some 1999 Connecticut quarters in pristine, uncirculated condition have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine that. A 25-cent coin paying your rent. But this isn't just about rare coins, this is about possibility. About the everyday things we overlook that could change everything. It's about Jack in Ohio, who never thought a coffee can full of coins would pay for his granddaughter's college tuition. It's about the millions of Americans who walk past loose change, never knowing what it might be worth. Your wealth might be hiding in plain sight. So go ahead. Check those jars. Dump out that drawer. Call your grandkids and tell them it's treasure hunting time, because the next $1 million quarter might be sitting in your kitchen, waiting to be discovered. When you feel that chill down your spine because you know you've got something special, remember this moment: the quarter. The story. The lesson, because sometimes, in the most unexpected places, fortune finds us, and that, my friends, is a story worth remembering. Don't forget to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Leave a comment if you've ever found something rare in your change. Who knows, your story could be next. Imagine holding a simple quarter in your hand, one you've probably seen 100 times. Now, imagine someone offering you $1.8 million for it. Sounds unreal, doesn't it? But today, we're talking about a true story, a rare coin from the year 2000. A South Carolina state quarter with a tiny P mint mark that turned an everyday collector into a millionaire. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your change jar or your dad's old coin box with new eyes. Because this isn't just about a coin. It's about spotting opportunities in the least expected places. It's about how history, luck, and a little bit of knowledge can unlock unbelievable value from something most people overlook. Let's rewind to the year 2000. The U.S. Mint had launched the 50-state quarters program, celebrating each state with unique designs. When the South Carolina quarter was released, it featured the Carolina wren, a palmetto tree, and the state outline with a star marking Columbia, the capital. But it's not just the design that makes this coin special. It's what happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A batch of these quarters, struck with extraordinary precision, near-perfect surfaces, and a unique die alignment, slipped into circulation unnoticed. A small number were later discovered to have subtle but powerful minting anomalies, setting them apart from the millions of regular coins, and among them, one particular 2000p South Carolina quarter, found in near-flawless condition, stunned the numismatic world. Experts appraised it at a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, a single 25-cent coin worth more than a beach house. Let's break it down. There are three pillars that give any coin extraordinary value: rarity, condition, and historical context. This 2000p South Carolina quarter has all three. First, rarity. Although millions of these coins were minted, the specific variation that fetched over $1 million is estimated to exist in fewer than 10 known examples. It's not just about being old, it's about being one of a kind. Second, condition. Collectors call it MS68 or better. That's mint state, graded on a scale up to 70. The higher the number, the closer it is to perfect. The $1 million coin was so pristine, you'd think it came straight from the mint yesterday. Third, minting errors and features. This coin wasn't just shiny and rare, it had a unique die crack near the palmetto tree, a tiny flaw that actually increased its value due to how few exist with that same feature. But that's not all. This is where it gets even more interesting. Most people walk around with loose change in their pockets, completely unaware of the potential treasures hiding in plain sight. That's exactly what happened to a man from Georgia who found the $1 million South Carolina quarter in a bowl of coins at his grandmother's house. He had no idea until he stumbled across an online forum of coin collectors. One post talked about a rare 2000p South Carolina quarter with unusual die markings and nearly flawless luster. He checked his coin and couldn't believe it, it matched the description almost exactly. He took it to a local dealer. The dealer's jaw dropped. 2 weeks later, after certification and grading, that coin was auctioned off for $1.8 million. From a dusty old candy dish to life-changing wealth in less than a month. First, check for the mint mark. You want to find the letter P right below the motto, "In God We Trust," on the obverse side. Next, inspect the overall condition. Look for coins that have no scratches, dents, or wear. The edges should still have their original ridges, and now, examine the fine details: a die crack near the palmetto tree, a sharp strike, and deep mirror-like luster. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Sometimes the difference between a regular quarter and $1 million one is invisible to the naked eye. Don't guess. Use a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it'll cost you a little, but it could earn you a fortune. Why do coins like this go for millions? It's not just about metal. It's about story, nostalgia, and uniqueness. Every coin has a journey, and when that journey intersects with rarity and demand, it creates explosive value. Collectors want to own history. They want something no one else has. And investors? They know these coins only increase in value with time, especially as more disappear into private collections. Think of it like this: a painting is just paint on canvas until it's a Picasso. A quarter is just metal until it's one of the rarest of its kind. But here's something that might surprise you: in recent years, rare coin collecting has exploded, especially among men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's no longer just a hobby, it's an investment strategy. The right coin can outperform stocks, real estate, even gold. Auction houses are reporting record highs, with even mid-grade rare quarters selling for tens of thousands. The demand is hot, and the supply is drying up fast. That 2000p South Carolina quarter? Experts believe the next one that shows up in top condition could go for over $2 million. That rare South Carolina quarter might not be sitting in a museum or a billionaire's safe. It could be in your car, your drawer, your father's coin stash, or that old jar at grandma's house. The key is knowing what to look for. Because while most people ignore loose change, smart collectors know the truth. Fortune favors the observant. So, before you spend that next quarter at the gas station or the vending machine, take a closer look. Because you might just be holding a piece of American history worth $1.8 million, and if you think this story was incredible, wait until you hear about the 1999 New Jersey quarter that shocked the world. You ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it was worth more than what's stamped on the front? Most folks think a quarter is just 25 cents, but what if I told you there's a quarter out there, minted in 2020, with a tiny little P on it, that could be worth $1.9 million? That's right. One coin. A single 2020p Salt River Bay quarter could unlock the kind of wealth that turns dreams into reality. And today, I'm going to walk you through why, how, and what makes this coin one of the most mind-blowing finds in modern US coin history. Stick with me. Because the next 30 minutes might just be the most valuable half hour of your life. Let's say you're heading to the corner store. You reach into your pocket, grab some change, and hand over a couple of quarters. The cashier takes them, rings you up, and you head out. What if, and just imagine this, what if one of those quarters was worth more than the car you drove to get there? It's happened. And not just once. The 2020p Salt River Bay quarter dollar isn't just a collector's piece. It's a life changer. And to understand why it's commanding nearly $2 million in the market right now, we need to go back, not just to 2020, but to the roots of coinage, rarity, error prints, and what serious collectors are willing to pay for history in their palm. The Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands isn't just a tropical gem. It's home to some of the most vital mangrove forests in the Western Hemisphere. That ecological significance earned it a spot in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, and in 2020, the U.S. Mint struck a quarter bearing its name and beauty. But it wasn't just the design that made this coin special. The Philadelphia Mint, known for the small P beneath the date, was responsible for creating millions of these coins. But in the mix, something went wrong, and sometimes, wrong is very right for collectors. See, collectors thrive on rarity. On uniqueness. On coins that slipped through the cracks of perfection. Misstrikes. Double dies. Off-centers. Cuds. Clashed dies. Missing elements. Even slight color changes or compositions due to chemical anomalies. The 2020p Salt River Bay quarter has several varieties that fall into these categories. There's one version with a heavy die clash, where the ghostly outline of the obverse appears through the mangrove tree. There's another with doubling on the leaves and text. And there are even unconfirmed rumors of a high-grade coin that has a small planchet flaw invisible to the naked eye, but strikingly rare in condition and mint preservation. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. A flawless, MS68 Plus graded 2020p Salt River Bay quarter with die clash evidence and brilliant luster was sold in a private auction to a high-end collector. $1.9 million. But here's the kicker. That might not even be the highest this coin goes for, because what if I told you there are still dozens, possibly hundreds, of these coins still out there, maybe in a drawer? Maybe in someone's sock collection. Or maybe, in your pocket. One man, 67 years old from rural Ohio, had a jar of quarters he'd been saving since the start of the pandemic. Never once thought twice about them. Until his grandson, a coin collector, spotted one with an odd shine and a peculiar outline under the surface. They had it professionally graded. MS67. They didn't sell it. But the offers haven't stopped since. The last one? $620,000. Then there's the mechanic from New Mexico. He received a Salt River Bay quarter in a gas station cash register and noticed something strange about the mangrove leaves. Looked like there was a second imprint behind it. He sent it in. Graded. Confirmed double die obverse, and those are just 2 stories out of who knows how many. The Sheldon coin grading scale, from 1 to 70, is what determines the condition, or mint state, of a coin. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, the brighter the luster, the cleaner the surface. That's auction house level. That's red carpet of coin collecting, and it's that grading, combined with errors and die varieties, that launches a 25-cent coin into millionaire territory. But even more shocking, we haven't even gotten to the full list of hidden traits that make your Salt River Bay quarter potentially worth more than you think. How to check yours at home, without any fancy equipment, and what signs to never overlook. First, flip the coin over and inspect the design of the mangrove tree. Look closely at the branches. Do you see doubling? Slight shadows or outlines behind the leaves or trunk? That could be a double die reverse, a huge value booster. And now shine a flashlight or smartphone light across the surface. A genuine die clash might reflect unevenly, creating a ghost-like image, especially around the left side of the tree. Look at the P mint mark. Is it clear? Smudged? Slightly off or too deep? Any of these traits might indicate a rare strike. The standard weight should be around 5.67 grams. Anything notably above or below that could suggest a rare planchet or metal composition error. If your coin checks even one of these boxes, you need to get it graded. Coin dealers, collectors, and auction houses are scrambling to get their hands on rare 2020p Salt River Bay quarters. A few high-grade coins have already been certified, but most are in the wild, ungraded, unknown, and hiding in everyday pockets. The coin market is heating up, and big players are entering. Investors who never cared about coins before are offering 7 figures. Because in times of economic uncertainty, tangible assets like rare coins are more than just collectibles. They're investments. A new batch of uncirculated Salt River Bay coins was discovered in a sealed bankroll last month, and rumors say one of them may be the highest grade ever seen. But here's the thing, IT hasn't been sold yet. It hasn't even been graded. IT could break the $2 million mark, and it could reset the entire market. So before you toss that quarter in a vending machine, pause. Look closely. Because one small coin could hold a massive fortune, and if you've got a 2020p Salt River Bay quarter, don't ignore it. Get it checked. Get it graded. Because the next coin to sell for $1.90 million might be yours. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Stay curious. And stay tuned, because next time, we're diving into another coin that's turning everyday folks into millionaires.